So my name's Thomas Crosby, or Tom for short, and I'm from Hull in Yorkshire, which is in sort of northeast of England, and I'm 33 years old. I got here on the 11th of March and worked a night shift. So I've been working about 5 or 6 days a week since the 11th of March, so about a month. At night time, it can be a little bit quieter, especially now, because there's less ferries right in the middle of the night. However, when I first got here, it was snowing. It was around -3 degrees, maybe a little colder with the wind chill. So conditions weren't perfect at all. It wasn't as busy in terms of the number of foot passengers at that time of day, but it was quite an awful condition to be in, even as a volunteer, let alone as a refugee. Well, you survive it. The first week, probably about the 11th to around the 18th, 19th time, was extremely busy. We had a lot of people coming through in terms of what I deal with, which is foot passengers. There's a lot of foot passengers a day, maybe 300 to 500 in one day. So it was a large undertaking, hundreds of people. Whereas those numbers have dropped off significantly in the following weeks. So in the early days, yeah, it was 12 hours a day, not just go home, get to bed, sleep. There wasn't a lot else you could do. Now, though, things are a lot more normal, I would say. So I sort of fell into this. So I suppose if there's a hole, you fill it in terms of your usefulness in a situation like this. So I ended up essentially organising the transport desk for foot passengers that come from the ferries. The ferries contain obviously trucks, they'll contain buses full of people that are already organised in the Ukrainian side, or they'll contain cars. But there's a significant number of people who come just with suitcases, no onward transport. So we put them in the tent, we house them, we make sure they get food, water, help, but primarily we organise where they need to go next. Buses for Bucharest, or maybe private individual drivers that we organise to places like Galat or Constanza. It's an interesting one. I mean, on a day-to-day basis, when you're just working with people who come into the tent, you can almost just view it as it's a normal interaction with normal people, which I think you kind of have to do to maintain the professional level that they need and the efficiency that they need as well. But it's always the moments of calm or quiet, or when you start to talk to somebody a little bit more, if you get the time for that, when you realise that this is not normal, this is not what should be happening, it's not normal for them. People have often been through quite harrowing situations, they've lost family members. Even amongst our volunteers, we've got people who've lost family members recently. So it feels quite normal until you take any sort of step back and think about it. And that, I suppose, in certain situations can be overwhelming, but you try and maintain that air of professionalism as much as you can, really. And at the moment, because it's quite quiet, I think it's really important for you guys to work out what you're able to contribute. You're in that stage, really, I think, because you guys have got a lot of people that have come down, which is great. So you've got a lot of resource. But it's been great to see you down here. But obviously now that the number of people coming through the port is a little bit quieter, even us as individuals have pivoted a little bit towards fundraising and buying medical supplies and things like that. So perhaps Good Neighbours as a position might not only provide help on the borders, such as what we do as well, but you guys might also be able to support in terms of shipping things into. Thank you, Good Neighbours.